Mr. Cook.
Hold on, man.
What's going on? How are you?
My eyes. Let me see how I fix this. Give me
I
1 second.
see.
You know, I'm old, bro. You have to bear with my ass. You'd be like, damn, can't get it together.
All good. All good.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just,
Hold on. That's how you gonna greet me, man, with your baseball cap turned off backwards?
See, I knew. See, he was gonna start. I told you, I had on a whole suit. I had it on. I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna come prepared. But then, I'm in here in this New York heat. It's a little crazy, so
It's
I
hot.
have to take it
Hot.
off.
Yeah.
Where are you right now? You out in LA?
No. I'm on the East Coast.
Okay, you on the East Coast. Okay.
Mountains. I'm trying to get this better, man, because I don't know what the hell. Let me see. What if I move back? What if I move this forward?
There you go. At least let's see your eyes. Come on, hold up, Duda. You gotta make sure to see the eyes. When we conversing, you gotta look them in the eyes, okay?
Man. Okay, I don't care.
Hashtag Duda for mayor. I'm here for it. Hey guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, my name is Eric K. Thomas, and I am the editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman. Again, media platform focuses on telling the stories of Black men. And today we have Duda, a.k.a. Curtis Cook. Man, but it's crazy because he been messing with us for a long time. We interviewed him about 2-3 years ago when he was doing stuff with Luke Cage, and he always engaged with us, always show us mad love. And we super appreciate you taking the time and always just messing with us. We appreciate it.
Yo, man, you know what? Honestly, Eric, man, I love y'all guys' platform, man.
Thank you.
I think it's important. I think that just the idea of having Black men inside of a magazine showing positive role models and looking clean and fresh. You know what I mean? That's the era of my era. We don't even have, I could probably name 3 magazines that kind of center on Black males.
Yep.
And all the diaspora of our complexities, man, and what y'all doing, man. I really get down with that for real.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, listen, we don't care about all the drama except for in its, the fiction side, and the craziness you do on the shy. But outside real life, we don't care about the drama. We all about positivity because there's enough places for all of that negative stuff. We just want to talk about the positive things and just trying to help, engage and uplift our people. So again, appreciate the kind words. So now we're going to get to the craziness with Mr. Duda. So is it, because now I'm trying to remember how to say Duda, right?
Duda.
Perfect.
Yeah. If you go Camptown Ladies, sing that song.
Duda. Yeah. Got it. So that's how you do that. Perfect. So you came in, just to kind of start with the shy, and you came in 2nd season, and just actually came in as a badass, excuse my language, but it was refreshing. But even before that, even you being a part of the show, but you knew about it. Why did you think the shy was so important to the culture? Wow,
that's a heavy question because it's really loaded. The shy is important to the culture, for a lot of reasons. One, the easiest one is because for me, the easiest one is because of representation. Being able to watch a television show and see yourself as Black people, as a young Black man, or an old ass Black man, and then 2, having that portrayal of yourself be so authentic, be so real, be so honest, be so unapologetically Black.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not skimming around some shits that we shouldn't be talking about. You know what I mean? Right. That whole airing your dirty laundry. I feel like sometimes you have to air the dirty laundry so that it's not hidden anymore, so some people can deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then on top of that, having a platform with those positive, negative representations of Black culture, to be able to say something with it, to be able to change a narrative or just bring up a narrative that maybe isn't being spoken about, at the current time. Right. So those are just 3 things off the top of my head why it was just important to see. And the blessing that, man, let me just start off with saying this. Lena Waithe is a beast. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
Common is a beast, man. And the fact that Showtime and Fox 21 were eager and smart enough to get on this bus with them,
smart enough, right?
Yep. And ride with them like they have is powerful, man. And so I'm always gonna give my props to them, man, because it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. There's a lot of entities out there who try to knock you down and try to make you conform to some shit. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna get all hype up here. You can be like, "Oh, man,
it's good. We good. Let's go. Let loose."
You know, and try to make you conform to some things that you know aren't right. You know, and I'm not saying that they don't have to, you know, give. You know, sometimes certain situations. I'm sure. You know, it's a business. Right. But I'm really digging what they did the first season, what they did the second season when I joined in, and you know, where we're leading into this third season, man. I'm really digging it.
That's awesome. So you came in as Douda, you know, and I just love how Douda come in. One, he owns the room, you know, and this just is respect that is given to him. And I definitely have to commend you on, you know, it's one thing you see people play a role, but how you play him is just OG. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's like I'm talking to Douda right now, and I'm a little nervous. You know, if I say the wrong thing, you're already checking me about me not presenting myself as a strong black man. So I already feel a certain type of way. But you know, he's charismatic, smooth, and really a definition of a strong black man. And even, you know, I would go so far to say if he wasn't, you know, a terrifying drug dealer, you know, I think he would get more love, more people will be rooting for him. But I would like to know, what are some similarities that you have with Douda? And then also, what would be some lessons that people can take from Douda as a character?
Well, thank you for that compliment, man, about playing this role. So some similar, Douda to me is comprised of three major people in my life. Okay. My grandfather, Calvin Curtis Jones, Sr., my father, Clifton Cook, and then myself, Curtis Cook. I don't really know. I don't know if I want to get into what similarities that I personally have with Douda.
Okay. Okay.
But I will say this, what I admire about Douda, and it's going to sound a little weird, but I admire his honesty. I admire that when he sits down with you and y'all have a conversation, he's not going to lie. He's not going to bullshit you.
Right.
And now, he may just tell you that part of the truth that sounds good to you. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And because of whatever the circumstances is, you may not ask an extra question to get get clarified, you know, to have it clarified.
Right.
But he's not going to lie to you. And if you were to ask that extra question, he would probably say, you know what? Yeah, it's not going to work well for you.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Right.
But you can have this. You know what I mean? He may do that shit to you, and you'd be like, okay, let me think about it.
Can I get back to you? Right.
But so I admire that. I admire the truthness, the truth telling that he gives. I admire his tenacity. I admire the fact that, I mean, we just found out in this last episode that, you know what, he ain't just in this game just to be in this game. Yeah. Yeah. He when there's some more stuff that's gonna come out too about his past, but you know, I don't know, we all had that teacher, but I had that teacher too, who you know, when I was in the 6th grade, who said to me, she asked me what I wanted to be, and at the time I thought I was going to be a singer and an actor. You know what I mean? And she literally said to me, "We don't need no more singers in the world. Wow. You need to figure out something else."
Wow.
But you know, let me not give her all that smoke, because I was that kid that was always in trouble. Okay. I was always loud in the class, making jokes and doing all that, right?
Yep.
So when she gave it to me, it had a little sting to it, so that the class would take note, and you know, and everybody laughed, and everybody, you know, was ha 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 ha. Deservedly so, because I was that was disruptive more times than I should have been. But I would never forget that she said that to me.
Right.
And it kind of led me on this other path for a hot minute. So I'm just saying that to say is that when he's in that car in this past episode, and he's saying that, you know, about, you know what?
That line.
Yeah.
That's what I said. When you were there with the beautiful Candy, which she did an amazing job. I was so proud of her. I was like, come on, Candy. Rosalind, right?
Yep.
Rosalind, that's it? Rosalind.
Rosalind Perry. Yep.
So, and she asked you, she said, you know, why are you running for mayor? And your answer was, because they told me I couldn't. And how many times have we heard, you just said it right now. You just said it. We don't need no more singers. We good on that.
We don't need no more ball players. We don't need no more.
We don't need
whatever.
all of that.
All of that. And it's all relevant, man. And it's all important. All of it is important.
Yep.
All of it is important. I mean, you know, and especially if it feels as if it's somebody's ticket out. Especially if someone is putting all of their hopes and their dreams in this thing because they're good at it and they feel like it's a way to get them out.
Yep.
You have to be careful. I mean, you have to be careful on crushing somebody's dreams, especially at a young age.
But that's it. See, and you said it right there. How many times do we even know of how many people or young, I would even keep it just specific, young Black men, dreams have been crushed because of their parent who told them they're not good enough, their guidance counselor, their, you know, their teacher, their whatever. And it's so sad, but it happens way too often. Way too often.
I agree. And you know what? And to being a parent, I understand too that there's a fear for them as well. I mean, the statistics and getting into the NBA or the NFL or some of these other things, it's very slim to none. You know what I mean? So I can understand a parent just wanting to protect their child. It's like, well, you know what? Hey, let's find something you can fall back on. Let's find something else just in case. Or, you know what I mean? Or maybe not. Let's do this. You're really good at this. So I understand that thinking. But I think there's also responsibility of nurturing that child's dream. So, and that's part of the parenting. You know, that's when you as the adult have to realize how much of this do I give and how much of that do I give. Because nobody teaches us how to parent a lot of the time. A lot of the time, you know. But if you're going to be a parent, hey, get ready because it's a
figure it out. So, and I'm gonna ask you a question about that. But before we get there, I want to stay on Douda real quick. So, you know, Douda is a businessman, has multiple pizza shops and other businesses, and you know, extracurricular activities. But he employs young Black men. We just saw, you know, last episode before that, we got the, you know, the young boys that are working for him and things like that. But it looks like he's keeping the money inside the community. Do you think Black men who are business owners have a responsibility to, one, keep the money inside the community, and two, help to bring up this younger generation?
Yeah. So I would never protest to tell somebody what they should do and how they should do, what they should do with their money and how they should do it and what they should and should not do with it. But I would like to think if you have the wherewithal to realize that you are a role model for everyone who sees you, and those who look more like you are more likely to follow what you do. Saying that, I believe that it helps if you continue to fund, one, the community that you came from, and two, a community that has been so pushed aside every time. And sometimes it's not with money. Sometimes it's just with showing up. Sometimes it's, you know, there's a plethora of different ways that we can help our communities or whatever else. But I would never tell somebody, you know what, hey, you're doing it wrong. You should be doing this with this or whatever else. But I do feel as if our young Black men, our young Black boys, men are hurting. We've been hurting for a long time. And I think any slice of, oh, that's good, I think that it's just like paying it forward. You know what I mean? And it will be reciprocated and it will come back. The more you do that, the more that it will come back, I believe.
You know, and I think one thing that I love that Lena and everybody with the show they do is this reoccurring theme of Black men and seeking like help, if it may be advice, you know, from whoever comes into their life. You know, whoever you talk to is always, they're getting some type of advice, some type of learning, some type of lesson. They might not like the lesson, but they're going to get one from you. And I love that that's a theme that you see throughout the entire show. And I guess to your point, and I guess even asking a little bit deeper is, why do you think it's so important for the younger generation to not only see role models, but to engage with them? You know what I mean? Because it's one thing for you to see them, oh, I see this mayor, he's doing great or whatever. But how Duda is doing it, you working at my shop. You're engaging. You're not only just seeing me, you're actually seeing how I'm doing things. And I think that's a part of maybe mentoring or trying to mold these young men into, gentlemen. And I don't think we get that too much,
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to grow up with my father in the home, but a lot of my friends did not have fathers in their home. And I think it was, it's very powerful that Lena and Common realized that factor, right, and created a show where a lot of these boys that you see there don't have fathers in their home, but they strategically place male figures in their lives that they would have to run into.
Yep.
So your question was, though, I forgot your question. What was your question? What was the
this is why basically why you thought it was important for the younger generation to engage with.
Right. I mean, the easy thing is that you know better, you do better, right? Yeah. So if you're able to engage somebody who's been there and been down that road before, and you know what, man, if you grew up on the block and you Black folk ain't got no problem with telling you what you should do and how you should do it.
Right.
And especially if they see a young kid or a young boy. It used to be a lot more back in the day. I don't know where you grew up or whatever, but when you were out, every neighbor would tell you, hey, I know your mama, you better make sure you home, blah, 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 blah. It's not as tight as that nowadays, I don't think.
Yeah.
But there's still that dude at the corner store or wherever who would be like, yo, young blood, what you doing up here? You know you ain't supposed to be here, man. Go on back down there. You know what I mean? And that's a form of guidance and helping. And so I think it's really important that that she has those figures in there and that they are giving these boys, except for Darnell's ass, giving these boys some powerful information.
Right.
You be like, oh damn, bro, what are you saying, man? What are you saying?
But you say that, but you say that, but you see that Emmett's character goes to him for advice and things like that. You know what I mean? But it is still that whole trying to get some clarity, trying to get some help, and I think it's important to show that, that you're not trying to do it all on your own. I'm trying to come to you. What should I think of? What should I do and things like that. So I do think that aspect of it, regardless of how terrible the advice is, it's still good to show.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of these young dudes nowadays, man, I'm old as hell. I keep saying it, but I feel like a lot of these young actor dudes sometimes, man, they want to feel as if I got it and I know what I'm doing. That's cool. I have no problem with, being confident and, and going through it. But there's a lot of us old cats who have been there before, who've done that contract negotiation, who's talked about those numbers and talked about those other things that maybe that agent may not tell you, maybe that manager may not tell you, maybe that lawyer may not tell you. So I think it happens more time than not, but I feel like it's important for them to reach out. Because it's odd for me to walk up to a young blood and be like, listen, man, let me tell you what you need to do for your next contract. You'd be like, what, nigga, what? Who are you? Exactly. You know what I mean? And things can roll in our business really quickly. Somebody hop on the scene and all of a sudden, boom, they're the next big thing.
Right.
There's folks that have been in this game. I've been in this game for over 27 years, 27, almost 30 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a working actor.
Right.
And there's things you pick up along the way, which is really important. So I hear you about needing the guidance, but I also encourage a lot of them
to ask for it and to accept it.
Yep.
And it's interesting too, because specifically in your industry that you work in, there is no plan. There is no, there's not corporate America. You do this, you're assistant, then you specialist, then you move on up, and there's a plan for the most part of what you're supposed to do to get ahead. But to your point of being in this entertainment industry, to where there is no, you're only as good as your last gig. You know what I mean? And for you to be able to offer up that advice as someone who's been through it, regardless of what roles you played, that's still information that could be used to help anyone move forward. You know what I mean?
I agree. I definitely agree, man. And you hear, just like with anything, you hear a lot of things in those sets. I've worked with Martin Scorsese. I've worked with Sidney Pollack. You know, I just finished working with Steven Spielberg. I've been on set of the House of Cards. So there's stuff you hear. You know what I mean? By able to be that, you know, that spook who sat by the door. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know the book, but you get to sit there. And so that information, fortunately enough for me, I have my son who's also in the business. So I'm able to pull his coattail and be like, yo, so look, think about this. And then he takes that information and moves it on to the next level. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to go through the same stuff that I have. So, and it's beautiful to be on a show like The Chi, where there are a lot of young dudes who are in this business. You know what I mean? And I will say a lot of them will sit down and be like, yo, you know, and they'd be like, hey, it may not be right, but here's a way. You know what I mean? Here's a way. Maybe you can try it or maybe you won't. But yeah, man. Yeah.
So, you know, you spoke about your children. One thing that I read when I was researching you and, you know, trying to prepare for this interview was, you know, one, that I didn't even know you were a single father, you know, and then you were at a point where you were like really struggling as a working actor. What were some of the challenges, which you could share here, about being a single father? Because one thing with our platform, we always talk about single fathers. We talk about single fathers, we talk about Black fathers, all about it. And I'm not a father, anything like that, but I just think it's so important because there's not enough light on them. You always hear about mothers, but then you always hear about single mothers, and you don't really hear about single fathers. And I do believe, not saying that there's more single fathers than single mothers, but there definitely single fathers out there. They're out there. So what were some of the challenges that you had as just being a single father?
Yeah, man, there were a lot of challenges. So of course, after I get out of drama school in London, I come to New York, and of course, I'm gonna be a major star, you know, in my head. And one of my first productions I get was the Wiz. Out of this, it's a regional place, regional theater, and I go and I do this production. That's where I met my my ex-wife, the children's mother. Nobody wanted, so we end up getting pregnant. We have our first child. We end up getting pregnant again. We have our third child. And we're hand to mouth, man. You know, I'm doing regional gigs. And at the time, regional gigs was probably paying them maybe $200 a week, if that, you know what I mean? Your contract was probably like 6 weeks, you know what I mean? So, but, you know, and she's working a full-time job. And, you know, and we're young, we're kids, we're babies. And we had our third child, right? And I don't fault her for this now. It took me many years to get to this place. I don't fault her for this. I think it was very strong of her to do this, actually. She said to me that she no longer wanted to be a mother and a wife. And I said, well, you know, you don't have to be a wife anymore, but you'll always be a mother. And I knew it had to take a lot of power to say that. If that was, and she was living in her truth, you know. And I was like, all right, then you can go ahead and go. And she left. So there I was with 3 babies. And not really a steady gig, man. So you asked me what kind of struggles.
All of them, all of the struggles.
Name a struggle, bro. Name a struggle. I would tell you how to deal. But one of the biggest things that happened that I've shared, and it's just now it's turned into this other thing, man. It's kind of so I'll say it again, but because I think it's important just to know that people can rise from the ashes. You know what I mean? There was this one day. Actually, I had done a national tour after this too. So I had some monies in the bank. I was, you know, I hadn't had my first Broadway show yet though. But I was trying to be this rough, tough dude, and I was not. This place that we were living in was a hellhole. It was it was garbage. But at the time, it was all I could afford. Blah blah blah. But I'm going to stand on my principles. Like I'm not paying for nothing until y'all fix this shit. Meanwhile, he's going to court. He's like, okay, yeah. You keep on standing there. Anyway, this one particular day, dude. I hear not. So the children are out of school. Felt like it was like a half a day or something. And we ordered pizza, whatever. And they're like running around in their pajamas, man. And I feel like Curtis was maybe about 7 years old or something like that. So he was a baby. And Curtis is the oldest, my oldest child. He's 30 now. I hear a knock at the door. And I'm thinking, oh, the pizza's here. So I'm like, cool. So, you know, hey, let's get the pizza. Open the door. It's the marshal. And the marshal was like, hey, looks like you're not dressed or anything, you can get dressed and you can take whatever you want. You can leave out, but once you leave out, you cannot cross this threshold again. I'm going to change the lock, and then in order to get back in, you have to go to court to get the court order and set up a date so you can come in. And I think I had like maybe 12 hours or something like that from the or whatever to pull all my stuff out and put it on the truck out because I couldn't let go back. Right. My head was spinning, dude. I was all over the fucking place. I was like, okay, I'm looking at them. They don't know what's going on. Right. You know, my youngest, she's only like 2 years old. Yep, she's 2. Who's a middle child now. She's a middle child now. And I'm like, okay, she's in diapers, they naked. I'm like, okay, you grab your stuff. Hey, bro, I had a dog at the time. I had this beautiful white boxer. Wow. Nairobi was her name. Right. And so I'm just like grabbing anything. And I had this big pickle jar full of coins. I just go and grab it, like somebody's gonna steal that. And we're on our way down to Metro North. I called my friend. I'm like, hey, look, I'm being evicted out of my place right now. She's like, quit playing. I'm like, no, I'm not playing. And that was one of the that was one of the worst days of my life, dude. Wow. And my son, so we're riding the train, and we, you can have the dog on the train, and Curtis is sitting next to me, and he's looking at me. And it was one of those days where I was like, I promise you, dude, you will never have to go through this shit again. We're never going to this place again, ever again in your life. Right. I will make sure of that. Right. Knocking wood. And we've been very fortunate since then. Subsequently, years later, I meet another beautiful woman. We fall in love. We get married. We get pregnant again, and I'm thinking, well, I can do one more child. Right. Ends up as twins, and I'm like, okay. All right, you playing games. So subsequently, I have 5 children. The twins are now 16 years old. Wow. Okay. And now have 2 grandchildren. So Curtis has a baby, and Isis has a baby as well. So nice. I have they don't live here. No, just the twins and my wife and I live here. Okay. Everybody else is in the city, man. So the struggles, there were a lot of them. Right. I never stopped though, Eric. I never stopped. Yep. Sometimes stupidly, but I never stopped, and I've been very, 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 very fortunate. Very fortunate. That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing. Like this, I just love to have these type of conversations because, again, I don't think they've are had enough. But again, thank you. And even kind of segue into kind of like this whole system that is now built. And here we are now with America. And, with the constant chanting and protesting about police brutality and Black Lives Matters, now you're starting to hear people start talking about, you can't say Black Lives Matter, but don't talk about Black on Black crime. And I'd be interested to hear your thoughts to these critics who are saying that, oh, Black people kill themselves all the time. You can't be yelling about Black Lives Matter and the police killing you when your own people are killing you. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, I feel like that's idiotic. I don't agree with that statement. I feel like anyone who brings that up as a counter argument or a counter plea for someone saying that, hey, I matter, but hey, you don't, because it's like, are you trying to say because this happened, I don't matter? Right. What is your counter argument really? What are you really saying? Right. And we've known that those statistics are they have a lot of holes in them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Compared to what? I mean, and why? And it's it's a system built on top of a system built on top of a system. Yep. You know what I mean? That pushes folk into a place where, if we're like, you know, this pandemic, we're stuck in this house for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Parents are going to be yelling at their children more times than they used to yell at their children.
Right.
It's
right.
because we're all in this house all day
right.
long.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the numbers are going to show something different than what's actually reflecting. And I'm not saying that people should be shooting each other or killing each other, never. But come on. I'm saying that as a counter to something that is simple as Black lives matter.
Right.
Let's do something about that, because they're not being portrayed to matter within the bigger scope of this world, this country, this city, this you know, neighborhood. I mean, I don't know how clear I was, but I feel as if
you get it.
Yeah, it's unnecessary, and it's not the time to even have that argument. There's big things that we need to focus on and tackle right now before we delve in to the catechisms of what that really is and why that really is. You know, it's all systemic, right? It's all been built there to rip us apart. Yeah. To rip us apart.
I agree. And I always say, you know, that, you know, there's valid points to there being crime. It's violence. To me, it's just violence. You know, Black on Black is just people kill normally people around their homes. That's when the most violence happens. And what happens? You live around people that look like you in a community. So Black on Black crime is the same thing as white on white crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, Asian on Asian. So the argument is invalid, you know, especially when you want to have a conversation as opposed to Black Lives Matter. So I always bring it up because it's constantly, and I just want to, like, every time I bring it up, debunk it. So let's stop, please. You cannot use that argument. It's just not sufficient, you know? Another one for you is there's so much conversations about, you know, everybody looking for our leaders. Where are our Martin Luther King Jr.'s? Where are our, you know, Angela Davis's? Where are our Malcolm X? What's your thoughts on that?
They haven't shown up yet. And when it's time for them to come, they will come. If that's what we need, they will present themselves. But in the meantime, keep fighting. Young folk, keep yelling the way that you're yelling. Keep rallying the way that you're rallying. Keep organizing the way that you're organizing. Keep speaking up. Keep having your cell phone out, recording everything. Keep being in somebody's face. Stop backing down. Continue to do it. That person will arise when they're supposed to. Nobody knew when Malcolm was going to show up. Nobody knew when James Baldwin was going to be who he was. Nobody knew any of these people. They will arise and they will show, and we will all know when we see that person. We will all know, oh, they're the truth. Okay, I'm listening to them. They're the truth. They've proven to me that they're the truth. Let me go and help what they're doing, because I believe in that cause. That's my simple answer to that, Eric.
And I will take it a step further to say, while we're looking for more, or that they're on their way or they're coming, we are them.
Yes.
All of us are them. You think about at the point now with social media and how you're able to, you think back in the day, it was, you can send a tweet and it can go to 10,000 people. We are it, and we have to, you know, we have to be very cautious of waiting. To your point, do it, got to do it, continue to move, continue to speak, continue to protest, because if you wait, nothing will happen. So, you know, it's that I'm always tell everybody, we are those people. We have to be the ones to speak out. Even if you got 200 followers, it doesn't matter. You still have a platform, you still be able to speak, you still able to push the cause and get people to know what's going on and keep them informed and all of that. So I definitely agree with you, you know, that person hasn't come yet, but to your point, got to keep moving, especially, and that's why I feel like this time, I do feel like it's different. And the reason I feel like it's different is because the younger people, and I'll go and play your card and say I'm old too. The younger than me are out there, And I don't even remember in the last time that things has happened and stuff like that. It was a lot of, this time, there are a lot of people that's younger and a lot of people that don't look like us who are out there. And it's like, enough is enough. Time is now. You know what I mean? It seems very different.
And also to add to that, I'm sure you're seeing that there have been some small changes, some things that you're like, oh, they did? Right. They really did that? They stopped? Okay. Oh, really? She just got fired?
Right.
Really? You know what I mean? And that in itself says, and you know, and imbues people to continue. It's like, oh, we are doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? We are doing something, and I agree. They're out there. But you know what? On another note, man, I'm looking at these magazines back there. I don't see me on no cover nowhere, bruh. I'm trying to see. Maybe you got one in the. I can't. Maybe it's up in the back over there. Dang. But
it's coming. It's on the side right here. It's coming. It's coming. All right, I know I got to get you out of here. I have one more question for you.
Yep.
So, one thing that I love about Duda is his wardrobe. First of all, it's very kind of similar to, it feel like it might just be your closet that he's going into. It ain't even a set, because I've been following you for years. I always see his suit, always look nice. And again, it feels like you are Duda, and you literally have, this character was made for you. But I want to say, you know, what's the importance of, not necessarily fashion, but the importance of an appearance for Black men and making sure they have whatever that appearance is?
Yeah. It is important. There is an importance to it. Mm-hmm. I would like to think that I'm fashionable, but my wife will tell you otherwise. So anytime you see me looking really smooth, it's because she's like, really? Maybe not that. And I go and change it. And she's like, yeah, see, that worked.
That's it.
But I bought it though. I bought it initially. She ain't buy it for me.
Exactly.
And all due respect for the Shy's wardrobe, mm-hmm. Mercedes, Roberta Cook turned this season out. Wow. Let me say that. And last season when I was there was Nancy Chio. Mm-hmm. Who turned it out from last year. So I wish I can take any credit for that. I can't, but I appreciate you feeling like I'm smart enough. But I think, you know what, the clothes make the man. Yep. Appearances matter. I mean, you know, I used to always think when I was younger that if I looked the part, I was the part. And I'm talking about just in not even in the acting world. I'm talking about my day to day. I used to have, but I used to like to play games, like, you know, heard me say before. So I would say, if I dress like this, I'm sure I can make them think that I am this. You know what I mean? Like, I put my button up, put my glasses on, and just kind of sit there or whatever, and have them think that I'm something else.
Right.
So if that's something in which, and you know, a suit makes you feel good. I mean, anytime you throw on a jacket and a tie, anybody, your posture changes.
Yep.
Your attitude changes.
Yep.
You know, in the same way when you throw on your sneaks and your in your shorts, you know, all of a sudden everything loosens up.
Yep.
So the importance of walking around, all of it's fine.
Right.
All of it's okay.
Right.
But the importance of just having the ability to present what you want to present, consciously. It's like, this is what I want to present into the world today.
Yep.
It's powerful.
And confidently.
Huh?
And confidently.
Yeah, you've already taken a good 60% of your day in your own hands. You've already stopped a lot of the things, because this is who you decided to be today. Because this shirt and this shirt, you know, this means something to me. You know, this dude right here, he means something to me. So it's like, you put him on and then someday you may forget that I threw him on, and I'm running around to be like, oh my God, Red Fox, Fred Sanford.
Right.
And you're like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden your day starts over again. You know what I mean? So the importance of appearance and looking good and feeling good. And I think it helps. It helps.
Perfect. So what else can we look forward to from Mr. Cook?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
I ain't going nowhere, man. So
I mean, hear it.
At the end of probably at the end of the year, depending on when they decide to roll it out, is West Side Story. Yep. I'll be doing the Steven Spielberg remake of the classical musical West Side Story, and
Nice.
we've already shot that. It's already in the can.
Nice.
You know, hopefully, The Shy gets picked up for a 4th season, and
As it will.
and hopefully they'll continue to hire Curtis Cook to be there. You know, things happen the way they happen.
You listen, you're not gonna die. We ain't got nobody that can kill you. Ain't nobody even close.
You know, Luke came in there, Craig came in there trying to do some stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But he ain't gonna do nothing to me. What? Come on, bring it on. And so, you know, and man, and hopefully what's next is we can get out of our houses. You know what I mean? They find a vaccine or something to help us cure this thing that's taking our country down, man.
Right.
It's serious. You know what I mean? It's real, bruh. And I'm sorry. How are you and your family holding up during this time?
We're doing good. Well. Me, I'm by myself, so I'm here. Just I don't go out. I don't play no games. I'm a hypochondriac, so I already don't like stuff anyway. Okay. So I've just been I'm cool. I stay at the house, work from home, do what I need to do. The only thing is that I do miss sunlight, and I felt like I was getting a little light skin. So I go out, play my tennis, get some, just to get some.
Oh, you know how to play tennis? You're a tennis player?
Oh, I'm a tennis player. Come on. I just won a trophy from playing with my boys. Okay, we had this little tournament.
Okay. Can they play tennis though? It's like you just won.
Well, you know, that's not the point. I won, okay? Regardless if they can win or not, or they can play. Just know that I am better than all of them.
Okay, who's your favorite player then? Who's your favorite player?
I mean, my favorite player is still Serena. Serena is the best. Okay. Come on.
Serena, I love Serena, but she whines sometimes, you know. And sometimes she be out there, you be like, okay, you know you can play. You're not playing well. Go sit down. You're making me angry. Why did I come to this game and you're just all of a sudden you're mad? Oh, I can't get it. I was like, okay.
Don't talk about Serena, okay? Don't do her like that, all right?
But what about TFO? Do you like TFO?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have that. If that's what you like, I'm not here for if you like.
Well, no, but because Donald Young was the first. I thought he was going to be the upcoming Donald Young, but right. It's like, okay, Donald, you can't get it together. You cool looking dude. You cool. You got the left.
But see, so I watch it, but I want to go to a game. So I've never been to a match before. And me being in New York City, I've never been to a match. And I know that it's not far at all to go, but I'm gonna go once, you know, they open up and start doing stuff.
I got you.
He said nothing but a word.
Wait,
does this mean? Wait, does it? Look, he trying to get a cover, y'all. I see what he trying to do. He tried. I know our publicist is on here right now. Dane, look at what he's doing. All right.
Look at what he's doing. Right.
I see.
Yeah.
So perfect. So West Side Story, you got some things in the can, and you ain't going nowhere.
I'm going nowhere.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much for chatting with me, us, everybody. Make sure you guys tune in to The Shy every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, because we on the East Coast. And thank you guys for tuning in, and always a pleasure. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and Mr. Cook.
Yes.
We'll be chatting. It's always good. Thank you.
Man, love. Thank you for doing this, man.
Of course. Talk to you later.